Now we're over here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Number 7 in the Jackson Elstro. I might have done a key bumper too. But this weekend. But number 7, it's the Los Angeles Lakers. Number 8, it's the Minnesota Timberwolves. Number 9 is the Boston Celtics. Number 10, it's the Toronto Raptors. 11 is the New Orleans Pelicans. And 12, it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, wow.
I don't know if you remember, I had the Lakers like 4 or 5 last time.
I know. I mean,
3
Lakers,
or 3.
So the way that I see this right here is every player in this order, in this like grouping, I think deserves to be here. There's nothing wrong. Maybe, you could nitpick and put them in a different order, but I think 7 through 12, these are the 7 through 12 best teams in the NBA. The Lakers, Timberwolves, Celtics, Raptors, Pelicans, Cavs. Yeah, I think that's a good list. Like, I think those are definitely behind the first 6. And the questions surrounding Boston and LA, I think put some here. Now, the other questions surrounding, and then the thing is these are teams that are all trying to be contenders, but they have questions. I think
it's mainly depth questions for me.
It's depth questions and just chemistry questions. Yeah. Will the Lakers and the Celtics have enough depth? Will the Timberwolves be able to overcome the perimeter defense? Like, really, it's not overcome. How good will the perimeter defense be in the regular season that it won't be a cause of concern in the postseason for the Timberwolves? The Raptors, will the young guys and the new pieces that they didn't really add necessarily many new pieces, but just what they did last year, will they just continue developing? Will there be a jump from this team? The Pelicans, how will they look with Zion Williamson and Dyson Daniels? And the Cavaliers, how will they look with Donovan Mitchell?
Yeah. So I think this list will look completely different. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like the same 6 next week, but I think this list in tier will be completely different next week. Obviously, with the Lakers, you have all these Russell Westbrook questions. I still think that those 2 first-round picks they have are going to be traded at some point, but you can't convince me Russell Westbrook's a bad basketball player. Maybe he's a bad fit. Maybe you can argue that, and maybe I'd listen to a little bit of it because it makes sense from what we saw in preseason. But at the end of the day, it's preseason basketball. The Lakers are missing shooting, but you have Anthony Davis, who
Matt Ryan, baby,
and Cole Swider, which are 2 amazing additions. But it's just we'll wait and see. But if your basketball team is LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Russell Westbrook, you're a powerhouse. You're a powerhouse. Like, you're going to win enough games. They're going to win enough games if they stay healthy. If LeBron and AD play 60 games this season, they will win 50 games. So Minnesota, kind of what you're touching on. I mean, they 46-36 last season was awesome. I do have issues with losing guys like Patrick Beverley, but as far as regular season goes, I think they're going to be really solid. I wouldn't be surprised if they're top 6 next week after we see them play a couple of times. Boston, I don't think people forget Boston was 30-31 halfway through the season last year, but Boston in the first half of the season, or not 20-21. Boston in the first half of the season last year, they're like struggling to make the play-in tournament. So with the coaching stuff going on, their names all in the press, bad publicity. I have huge question marks with Al Horford being able to replicate what he did for them last season, especially in the playoffs. I like the pieces that they got in Brogdon, but I think they went on this crazy ass run last season. I don't think that they'll do it again. I don't think they'll be that's why they're number 9. They're not going to be a worse team than 10, but I don't think they'll be much better than 10. Toronto, I mean, Otto Porter Jr. was a huge move. I have concerns with the backup point guard position. But when we look at their stars/superstars, it's Siakam and Freddie. And I think it's really going to come down to, was OG taking that jump? What's Scotty Barnes' progression going to look like? How's that bench going to be moving? What are the rotations we're going to see? So I think 10 is honestly probably a little bit far-fetched. Like, I think more realistically, they're somewhere around 12 or 13 if you were to look at a real, like athletics power rankings. But I have high hopes for them. The chemistry is nice. New Orleans, question marks surrounding Zion's health, but at the end of the day, CJ McCollum was a huge get. Brandon Ingram's a dog.
It's also the fit with Zion.
Yeah, yeah.
Like not that that's a huge concern, because when you have a good player, it's just I think it's more defense.
Yep.
Like I don't have a concern offensively how it fit. It's just
100%.
This was a team that the Pelicans, their defense is what carried them to the playoffs. And I mean, obviously their offense, but when you're Zion, you're not going to be, when you have Zion on the floor, it's not going to be the same defensive team unless like Zion in this background, in the behind the scenes, has bought in defensively and just comes out looking like, you know, an all NBA defensive player.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me. Cleveland's a really good team, and I think that by the end of the season they'll be top 10. But for right now, what did they lack in? They lacked in offense, severely lacked in offense. I still need to see a jump from Isaac Okoro. No Ricky Rubio currently for the first half of the season, so that plays a little bit of a factor.
Raul Neto, come on.
Yeah, but you know, Ricky Rubio.
I think the biggest concern is the wing position, which, you know, they gave Dean Wade an extension, so the wing position could actually be something that's already it's solid, and like we could be overreacting. But if you had to say what was the weakest position group, it's the backup guard depth and the wing depth. But
I also think Karis LeVert will get traded this season.
I think every team in here deserves to be in 7 through 12. The Lakers, Timberwolves, Celtics, Raptors, Pelicans, and Cavaliers. But I could see one team being swapped in here, and that's the Dallas Mavericks.
Mm-hmm. I think I have Dallas. We'll see on the next slide, but I think I have.
I think I would.
It was 15 last time.
So with that, they will move into the next one. But yeah, no, I think Dallas could replace Los Angeles. Like whatever team out of these 7 that we just had, I could see Dallas or Portland being the team that replaces them, you know, that like, or